So, let's stick with the early stages again, and this ties into what you just explained. Going into the, things like, securing deals, hiring people, funding, and the marketing aspect. How did you overcome those, I would say, challenges, not obstacles?
Sure. Yeah, what's great about challenges too is that if there's no challenges when you're entering a market, it's actually, even if you progress through it, there's no challenges for anyone else to begin progressing through it too as well, right? So I guess as an entrepreneur, like I'd generalize and say, if there's no challenges or hurdles in whatever market that you're trying to address, maybe it's not as worthwhile just because like you might get to a certain point, but there's no friction to those people that are catching up to you. I was at an event in the fall and someone was saying, it'd be great if it was easier to incorporate in all these different countries in the region, because we had created our footprint. So we were in the UAE, we were in Lebanon, we were in Jordan and Egypt. And I said, look, I don't want it to be easy. I've gone and incorporated all these places. I spent the better part of a year, incorporating. I don't really want it to be easy for other people to come along and, to fairly quickly, mirror that footprint, And so I think for us, the key was like, I guess I don't see e-commerce as a whole lot different than a store in the mall in that, you need stuff that people want to buy, a price they're willing to pay. And really the store needs to look like the kind of place somebody wants to buy from. It needs to be kind of professional and clean and functional and everything else. But also there needs to be somebody to answer questions before, during, after a purchase. And I mean, we just kind of took that approach. I think a lot of it was that because we were doing something where we would speak to merchants and, you had to put it in a frame of reference what we were doing. So we became a performance-based ad unit. We put it in a frame of reference that businesses were probably used to, but maybe not in the context of what we were doing. And so I think a lot of it was really securing deals for us was hard work and feet on the street and phone calls and lots of meetings, and then just kind of putting in like what we were selling because it was new in the context of something maybe they were familiar with. But really a lot of it was just a lot of work. I mean, like in terms of like hiring staff, I think that what helped us hire staff is that we set like a set of values from the beginning that we wanted to operate against, and then we hired against those set of values. You're not always perfect on that, but if people kind of buy into they need to be the right person for the role, but also at the right timing for you as a business. So the person you hire as, your first person is maybe a lot different than the person you hire to be your 150th staff because the level of, change and uncertainty day to day is much different when you're 3 people versus 150. And so you kind of really have very straightforward conversations about what it's like to be in a company when there are 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. You work hard to find the right people. I mean, I was the HR department until we were about 45 people, so I hired everybody in 4 different countries. I posted the jobs, I filtered the candidates, I screened everybody. That was one of the many jobs that I had, but I mean, it's super important. When you're starting a business, you want to find the right people, keep the right people, and never run out of money. It's the 3 things. If you can do those 3 things, I know other things are important, but those 3 are kind of top. Were always top of my list. And I mean, literally, it was I guess kind of linking all those things together. It was no matter how we marketed, how we operated our business, how we spoke to merchants, it really was kind of driven and the values that we created were really kind of driven about how we wanted to run our business and how we wanted to do what we were doing and not just what we were doing. We made decisions against those values as we went. Probably we left some money on the table sometimes by, sticking to them. Maybe we missed some pretty good candidates sometimes, but you also have to come to work every day and enjoy the people that are around you. You have to, you have to also feel like they're the ones that are going to go out and represent you, whether dealing internally or externally. So I think really for us, it sounds great to say, but that core set of values you operate your business by impacts everything else that you do. Your business decisions, how you model your business, how you model growth, how you hire staff, how you retain staff, how you raise funding, how you market your business. So I think that was really important for us, and we did spend a huge amount of time on it because I think just because we didn't spend a lot of time in GoNavitate days, just because we had actually spent a lot of time, probably in the last 5 or 10 years. Just as working at different businesses, kind of bringing together a set of values that if and when you want to start your own business, what would it look like? And so I kind of had a list already. If we ended up with 6 so many values, I probably had 4 of them already that I knew when I started a company, those are going to be 4 of my company values, And so, because a lot of it, what you do is a product of where you've been. But